Wesley Willis, right?
Oh, hold on, yeah.
This is the rock and roll McDonald's.
Can you get that?
I think I can.
I think we got it. We're all good.
You got it.
What happened?
Oh God.
I said this meeting is being recorded.
Yeah,
so
so
All right.
You're good.
We're good.
Yeah, you won't. No one sees that. That's just for
My beautiful
safety
face.
purposes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for your safety, not mine. So just in case you didn't know, this is being recorded.
Cool.
Pay attention.
I think in New York it's
Well, guys, the gentleman of SunHaven. How you doing?
We're good. We made it. We're here.
So we've been talking for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's wild.
I was introduced to your song from the Stereo Joe show. Shout out Jimmy and Nick. The song was called Night Swim, and I heard it and I was like immediately hooked. I'm like, who is this band? Where's this song coming from? The song's amazing. I need to know more. And I'm like, I gotta talk to these guys. Like, this song is incredible.
Thank you so much, man.
So yeah, that's off your first album.
Yep.
And that was out in 2021, correct?
Yep. We released that as a single ahead of the album. We shot it, I believe it was in June, right?
Yes.
Shot it in June and then released it in July. July
July.
24th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of 21. And then the album, we released the whole album after that. We had like another music video that we shot in between. We didn't technically release that one as a single, but Night Swim was the debut single.
That song has to be the song that's going to take you guys to the top. I mean, I can't get over it. And then what the funniest thing when you guys put the song to Shaquille O'Neal on Instagram, I shared that with every single one of my friends. Listen, if you're watching this right now, if you're listening to this right now, stop, go stream the song. It's on Spotify and everywhere else. SunHaven, the song's called Night Swim. Go listen to that. Go watch the video on YouTube, then come back and follow up here. But oh man, that
the weather
Can't believe you
balloon.
The
The weather balloon, I still think, was your best word.
Yeah, I had the weather balloon that had come over that created all that hysteria.
Yeah.
The Chinese weather balloon, and I photoshopped it. It said, "We have the SunHaven record." that was funny, but no, we were just throwing memes out there for a little bit, because we like to joke around quite a bit. I'm like, dude, Shaq has this video. I got to do something with it.
Yeah,
it did. Fit.
It was perfect. Like the beat dropped. It was I can't explain it. Oh my god, I laugh every single time. Every time. And those guys with them go wild, taking their shirts off, and
I gotta say, I wasn't expecting that to come up.
I didn't have that on my bingo card.
No, that's like my favorite thing you guys have done outside of the song Night Swim.
Well, now we set the bar pretty high. I don't know what we're gonna do next.
The meme stuff.
I know. We really gotta start thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, you have Night Swim and you have that meme or whatever you want to call it, that reel or whatever they call it now.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be hard to beat that. It's gonna be hard.
Rough,
but I have faith. I have faith in you guys.
Thank you, man. We'll figure it out.
I hope so.
Yeah,
hope we can do it.
We're always joking around. So.
I hope the music can be better than the memes.
It is. That was a nice.
I would be okay with. The memes probably make more money.
If we can't get you emotional from the music, at least we'll make you laugh with the memes. We'll get you one way or
another. Go viral or something.
That's all you need. Just a hook. Just a hook. But you guys are from New York, correct?
Yep.
Well, that is correct. I carry the heaviest Long Island accent you'll ever hear.
Anytime we go out of state, the first thing that the other bands would say, they'd be like, "You guys are from New York, right?" Yep. Yes, we are. Like, we could tell.
Have you guys played in the area that I live in, like the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area?
No, we haven't been out there.
Mainly just Philly.
All right, because I was mad at myself. I was listening to the record today. I was listening to the single you sent me from the upcoming record that doesn't have a release date yet. And I was like, I thought for a second you may have played around here, and I didn't show up. And I'm like, man, I really dropped the ball there. But I guess I didn't, because you haven't played here yet. But you need to. We need to.
We'd love to, man.
We've been discussing ways to start traveling again.
I gotta get Vinny from the V Spot to hook you guys up. That's
That'd
probably one of the I guess better venues in our area. I mean, it's a great spot. It's not like it's a bar / venue.
Sure.
We'll be right at home.
they're really holding it down as far as booking bands and outside the area, inside the area, all that kind of stuff. So I would love to see you guys play. I mean, it's great
I mean,
stuff.
we'd love to play.
Yeah, let's come hang.
Yeah, we definitely love playing.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's why we do that.
That's
But,
good.
Yeah, we'll play anywhere. Yeah.
That's
we
good.
have-
I'm gonna call Vinny after this and try and maybe next year we'll get you guys into town.
Cool.
Appreciate that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. But yeah, so you're from New York. How long have you guys been together for?
So this is a tricky question
Oh, Jesus.
because like we were in a metalcore band prior to this that started as kind of like a post. How would you even describe that? Like in
I would-
2012 as like a rock band, just a rock band, I guess.
Yeah, I would say we were probably a post-hardcore band back in the day.
Yeah, so
He wasn't in the band at first.
at first.
Yeah,
yeah,
So
like a
we
different-
started in like 2011, 2012. We put like our
Tell our
first
whole
thing
story.
out. Yeah, I'll just start from the
Start from the
beginning, I
beginning.
guess. So collectively, we've been together since 2012, and then you came in 2013. So I guess as the lineup as it is, it's been a while.
Just
We
about 10
were-
years.
Yeah, so we were in a metalcore band, but we had one extra guy. It was our buddy James. He did vocals. Like me and Jay just put, we played guitar and just a metalcore band.
Yeah.
For a while, we put out a couple of EPs under that name, and then we pivoted. So SunHaven's been around since like a little before 2021 because that was kind of when we started to pivot away from the metalcore stuff. And because we were jumping the genre, we were like, oh man, we're gonna have to change the name. And
Yeah.
it's all five of us, now it's down to four of us. And like, so like I took on a new role, like, now I'm singing and I wasn't singing before. So it's like the dynamics shifted a little bit. So we rebranded, and that started around a little before 2021 because we were in the process of writing everything. And then, the record came out in 21. So as a whole, we've been together for over a decade for sure. And these two guys were in bands in high school together. So
Yeah.
they have even more
Yeah.
history
Yeah.
together.
All very close friends, know everything about each other. A little too much.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's no secret that bands are like family, and family is hard to, work with or live with and things like that. So it's cool that you've been able to, not only like be together for that long, but be in different genres and kind of, you said, jump to this genre. And you did share that with me. I did check out some of that stuff. And I mean, I like metalcore. I'm not a huge fan, but I don't hate it. But I'm glad you made the switch. And with that being, I mean, this is more my style. But like with that being said, why did that happen?
So I guess the best way to say it was our front man James at the time. He had said like, look, from the jump, he was like, I like being in a band, I like doing this stuff, but I have a 9-to-5 job. That's his
Metal is
priority
like
is
a-
that.
metal is like a
It's-
tough sell too.
It's
You know?
well, actually more than a 9-to-5.
Metal is obviously a tough sell. Obviously, there's less people that would pay money to go see that type of thing. And like, so I mean, it would be difficult to be a 4-man metal band too.
Yeah,
very
without
difficult.
him, it's difficult. So he, from the jump, was very transparent with us. Like, he's still our buddy. Like, he's
Oh, we talk
the
to
man.
him.
We
I
talk
talk
to him all the time. But he was like, look, like we have the 9-to-5 that turns into a 9-to-9. Every day on call. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to be as reliable as you need me to be. And as we started seeing that, we were like, we appreciate that. We appreciate the
You
transparency.
started
like-
writing that kind of triggered you. So
Exactly. So like I started writing like on the down low, like, okay, I see the writing on the wall. We're gonna have to make this pivot at some point, and I want to get ahead of the curve so that we're not without material. Because we've been on, we had like a year-long hiatus at one point with the metal stuff when we were switching singers from our oldest singer, the original singer, to this guy James that we're talking about. And I'm like, having that hiatus sucked. Like I really didn't want to waste any time. I wanted to make sure that we were hitting the ground running and just getting music together. So I started writing everything, I started introducing it to you, and then we workshopped it together, branched it out to everybody and polished it up and worked together to make it happen. And, that was why we made the switch. If he was still around, we'd probably still be doing the metal stuff,
Oh,
and I would
still
just be
sure.
writing some alt rock things to soothe myself on the inside.
every once in a while we play like a local show, and one of the like what's his name? Like
Luke.
people will say like, if you just get James to come, and play a metal show, like, you know, and
Like
everyone's
at
always asking.
our last show, it was funny because one of the guys in the crowd had the Trustless record that I sent over to you from Champ. He pulled it up on his phone, and while I was in like a monologue, like introducing the next song, he just flashed me the phone with Trustless on it. He's like,
People miss the
so, and then like whenever we go to like local shows, they're just like, oh, it's still Champ. Like it's not SunHaven. I'm like, so it is very funny. It's a running joke in our local community amongst their friends and you know the fans that come through. So it's fun.
Yeah, I'd say predominantly like we all do listen to the genre a lot. We're all pretty well versed. I mean, we listen to every genre, but yeah, a lot of us like
Still like
this genre. So definitely like playing it. We'll be honest, it's a little bit easier to write compared to metal music. But,
yeah, I mean, when we were doing the metal songs, it would take like, you know, 2 years for a 6-song thing.
I think it's just because we're never satisfied.
Yeah, and a lot of like that Trustless record too was a lot of we can't try not to repeat stuff, trying to always keep it interesting. It's like digestible chaos. It was like it was
Trying
a
not
lot
to sound like every other band in 2015 playing metal or whatever it was.
Yeah.
like,
right. Like
really
it was
difficult.
It was definitely more of like a technical challenge, I think, on our end to get the music out, and that's why it took so long between records. And we weren't even putting out full lengths; we were putting out EPs.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot. But then when we started writing the alt rock stuff, it's kind of like just more flowy, you know, like it just comes and you run with whatever feels natural and you try not to overthink it too much, and then you polish it and fine tune it afterwards. So like for me, naturally, it was just easier for me to write that type of music, and then we all, you know, we all come together and work together to polish it up and, you know, make it what it is. So that's we all, you know,
that's it.
that's really it. But as Alex said, we all jumped from different genres. We grew up. I know we grew up listening to classic rock. My dad's a huge Rolling Stones fan. Has like every bootleg and deep cut and, you know, anything that you could think of from them. So it's like we all grew up on classic rock, and I think our parents influenced us quite a bit in our music tastes, along obviously as you grow up and your friends introduce you to things. So there's like a, let's say, a big rock foundation, and kind of go either way, go wherever with it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, James, I don't know you, but I'm glad you're gone.
That's great.
I'm kidding, dude. I'm kidding. No, I think it is. I mean, the metalcore scene is I think one of the most like loyal and like
it is
energetic, and you know, kids are still like, you know, thrashing around and shit like that. But as far as like, you know, a big net to cast, it's like you said before, it's not for everybody. When, you know, this stuff that you're doing now is a little bit more digestible, and, you know, something that you can listen to when you're, you know, when you're not angry, or you know, when you want to, you know, punch someone in the face and shit like that.
Well, speaking of that though, it's like it's so hard to gauge reaction sometimes from the stage, because we're so used to, when we're in the metalcore band for 10 years, we're like, oh, this set's going really well because everyone is kicking the shit out of one another. Now it's like we're playing a show and people are like, yeah, I'm like,
it's hard to tell.
I think you're having a good time, but we'll talk about it afterward. You know, so it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, with this new stuff, I mean, how have people, you know, been receiving it?
I think it's been okay. Like, you know, the local scenes liked it. Like our
parents like it better.
My dad says it's really good. So
my parents actually like what I do now. So
yeah,
I can show it to my family, and they're very excited. I mean, my family was always super supportive, even in the metalcore stuff. But it's the stuff that they could actually throw on while they're
you'd never catch it. You'd never catch that on their iPod.
That is funny. I this small little tangent here is like, as much as I love my parents, I don't give a damn what they think about it. Because like they always have to critique something. I'm like, I've not had a conversation about my music with my parents in over 8 years.
I feel like I have to. I feel like I kind of the opposite, because I have to take everything my dad says
of course,
seriously. When he tells
I mean,
me something sounds like shit, I'm like, oh boy.
We all have supportive families who obviously view each other's parents as our parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because like every time I hear a critique, I'm just like, I'm just like,
but I mean, the scene itself has been
Yeah.
great. You know, like they've welcomed us with open arms. Again, it's tough jumping genres and trying to be something that you weren't, you know, a year ago. Like, hey, we were playing breakdowns and everything. Now we're like, oh, we're sad and stuff. So it's an interesting jump to make, and everyone has been super stoked on it. Like our friends are still coming out to the shows, the fans are still coming out to the shows. Like it's really cool to see people singing the words back. It's hard to sing back up. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people singing that back a lot, like it is in our case. But like seeing people sing the words back is like, it hits the heartstrings. You're
I've
like,
seen it
holy
a couple
shit.
times in the metal, just in our defense.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I
But it
feel
is
like
way less receivable.
it's easier to see like people just jam into the night swim chorus. I'm like, yeah, that sounds
It's way
cool.
more like music
So
that hits a lot more people.
it's been fun. You know, it's definitely been an interesting process, but it's been a lot of fun, and you know, everybody's just having a good time. Like our main objective is like just to have a good time at the show, and I want to make sure that all our friends and all of our fans are there and hanging out, and it's just been a fun vibe the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, it's relatable to
Yeah.
more people. I mean, I'll keep going back to Night Swim because that's the first song I heard, and I was just from the jump, I was like, this song's amazing. I mean, like everyone I feel can relate to this song. They've had that. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, and one of my favorite lyrics is "Let's hold our breath and kiss in the deep end." I don't know what it is about that. I love that. But like, you know, the video is, you know, you're at a party, a guy and a girl in the pool making out. Like that took me back to like being, you know, a teenager. You know, it's a cool moment to, you know, relive as a 40-year-old man, right?
God damn.
It just takes you back, you know. It's just like a really cool.
You're 40?
I was gonna say,
I'm
dude,
40, man.
Hold on 1 second.
Dude.
No way.
Yo,
No
when this airs, I'll be 41.
No way.
Hey, happy early birthday!
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Shit. Birthday,
So-
man.
Today is October 26th. This will probably come out the week of, if I do quick, the week of November 13th. So I turned 41 on November 1st.
Hey.
I'll be doing jumping jacks if I look like that at 40. Jesus.
I wonder if I look even younger if I shave my beard.
Dude, I just pulled that stunt.
Yeah, I don't like that. What are you doing? Don't do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just pulled that stunt. I gotta be a greaser for Halloween. You don't see greasers with beards in the outside.
Yeah. It'll grow
But,
back. And this guy's rocking the mustache, and I love that because not everyone can pull it off, but you can.
Yes.
I should probably ask you your names. I don't even know your fucking names.
You want to start from me?
I am Alex.
Alex.
My name's Keith.
Jay.
Tyler.
Tyler, I'll forget them, but yeah, so it's good
Yeah,
to.
yeah, man.
We're running
I'm a bass player. I get brushed over every day of my life. It's all good.
I'm the merch guy. Dude.
He's basically the merch guy. I don't even know what he's doing.
Yeah, because I'm out.
But yeah, I mean, how did that song come about? I mean, are you writing these songs from past experiences, or are you guys able to curate these things and kind of like just a vision you might have, or how does that work for you?
Step by step.
I mean,
Yeah. So for Night Swim in that particular scenario, like, well, actually for that whole record, a lot of the times I was
probably every
taking
record we've ever done, I think, for the most part.
the new one is more like
Starts with you guys.
yeah, but I mean in terms of like how the actual lyrics and like the
Oh,
content
yeah.
of the song,
Mhm.
it was like it started rooted in reality because I remember I had this very I was, you know, seeing someone at the time and I was, you know, thinking about the feelings that I had with this person, but it wasn't quite working out. Like, well, it wasn't that we were bad for one another. It's just like it was weird circumstances. And I did have a party in my backyard. Fun fact, that is actually my parents' backyard at the
Oh,
time. They sold the house, so it's no longer their yard. But at the time it was their yard. So like it was taking place in the place that I actually wrote about. And then you know, so I had this backyard party and I was just thinking about what could happen between us. And then I went to bed and I had a dream about, you know, everything that was happening. So it was kind of a mixture of what happened in reality versus what happened in the dream, mixed with a little bit of commentary on how I see the situation. And ultimately I wanted it to fit into this. You were so close to like this is the good thing that you wanted. And you have that moment that kiss, that moment, that good feeling, and then all of a sudden it's this fleeting moment because it's like it's not going to stick around. Like this may not be the right thing, but you're trying so hard to hold on to that one moment that you had. So it's a mixture of something that happened in reality versus where my mind took it when I went to bed.
That's cool.
Thanks, man.
That's cool. You were able to wake up and like, keep that in your head, because every dream I have, I forget.
So do I.
Dude,
He practices that shit.
So I log my dreams. I know it's kind of wacky, but like I'll go in and like it's gotten to a point now where when I'm doing it consistently, I'll remember my dream in crazy detail as if it's an actual memory. So it's like I have about 600 logs since the beginning of the pandemic, and then I'll analyze those dreams and be like, what themes, like what running themes am I having over the course of a week or a month? And then I take those stressors or those problems, and then I merge it with what's actually going on in real life, and I start answering things that are going on in real life, like, oh, this could be a metaphor for how I'm feeling about this particular situation, and this is how my brain wants me to handle it. So I'll take real life, I'll take the dreams, and I'll try to merge them a little bit to make things a little bit more poetic at times. I just feel like it's an interesting practice of like delving into your psychology and understanding like how you work and where you fit in and why you're thinking the things that you're thinking. So it's like logging the dreams has really helped me write lyrics for sure.
That's awesome. I wish I could remember the last dream I had.
Dude, you can even just start
as soon
out.
as my eyes open, I'm just like,
Yeah.
And it's gone. Like honestly, like you could just start out with like you remember like the smallest like minute detail of like I was in this gray room. Just write down gray room. It doesn't have to mean shit. And then the next night you might be I was in a hallway and there was a brown door, and that's all you got. And then eventually you start working up. I remember the first line that I had from a dream that I remembered was, it's snowing again in Russia. And I didn't understand what it meant. And I still don't know what it means, but it helped me start remembering things as I went. So you could just start with this small little detail, and then over time you'll train your brain in no time. And then you'll start recognizing when you're actually asleep, and that's when you start getting lucid dreams. Like I lucid dream a ton, and it's like I could go off. I'm a geek on this. I could go off for days on this. So I don't want to wait.
And when I have lucid dreams, I'll occasionally text Keith as soon as I wake up. Like he'll get a text from me like 6:45 a.m. in the morning. I'll be like, dude, what's up with? I think I said, I said, what's up with like bears or like statues? Because like I go to him for that, and like I'm decent at lucid dreaming, but like he knows everything. So like it's cool. It's cool to delve in and get into that as well.
I definitely don't know everything, but I know how to analyze myself or analyze this.
now my life doesn't wake up until
I love that it goes into our music as well. It's definitely part of his lyrical process, which is awesome.
And I feel like people a lot of the times will use sleep as an escape, so it's, you use sleep as an escape, and your mind just kind of wanders and does what it does, and you decompress throughout, all of those stories throughout the day. We do. On the new record, we have a song specifically about using sleep to escape from what's going on in your day to day, and then learning something in that realm and pulling it back into reality to make your life better. So it's like I really believe that there is something a little bit deeper to dreaming than just resting your body and putting your body on a slab when you're not using it. Like there's definitely, I think there's something more to it. Like dissecting thoughts, and if you can analyze it, then you know exactly where you should be and what you should be doing. Not all the time, but it may give you a better direction. So I try to take that into the music writing process. I mean, sometimes like I'll text you, not even necessarily lyrics, but I'll be like, dude, I heard this song, like I heard like chords or like a melody in my sleep, and I'll be like, it sounds like this, and I'll like hum it so I don't forget it. But it's weird, man. I mean, I think it was Keith Richards or like someone from the Stones, they had like a notepad next to their bed, and they would like write, like wake up from a dead sleep, write something, go back to bed. And I think there was a Seinfeld episode about it too, where he's just, he writes this thing that he thinks I know, where he writes something that he thinks is so funny. And then the next morning he looks at it, he's like, this doesn't make any sense. And then they figure it out at the end of the episode. So it could go either way, but as you hone it, I think
with lyrics you can kind
of get in there, and melodies you could kind of get in there. So it's been weird, but it's been fun.
Yeah, imagine like even like lyrically, like even if you had just a part of it, you can at least build off that. So that's pretty awesome. I have one for you. This
Sure.
just happened to me. What today's Thursday? I think it was Tuesday. Tuesday.
Mhm.
So my full-time job, I work at a screen printing company. Um,
Nice.
so I work with a lot of bands, which is a lot of fun. And I work with a band called Don't Panic, and they were leaving for tour on Tuesday afternoon or like 3 o'clock.
Okay.
They placed a merch order with me, uh, and they said they needed it, for the 24th, and it was already a tight deadline. And then I had like 8 pieces of the order not show up, so I had to scramble and kind of figure out how to get something in house so we can print the job. So then the day that was due, he said, "Hey, like, can I get them by 1 o'clock today? We're leaving around 3 o'clock, whatever. And I need to drive up there, get it, and then drive back. Gotta pack the van, yada yada yada." And I'm like, "Fuck," because at that point the truck hadn't even arrived yet, and at the point I didn't even know if it was going to be on the truck. So I was like hoping and praying, right? Long story short, it got there, I printed the job, and in order to get, to save him time, I drove him his merch to the location they were going to leave from, because they were south of me and they were heading south. So I wanted to save them time. As I was driving there, I see this kind of like row homes. There's probably like 4, 5, or 6 of them. And as I'm driving, I look at it, I'm like, I've seen that before. I had a dream of this, like these houses, not finished, not like completely like done, but like in the process of being built.
Mhm.
And I was with like my family, and like it was weird. I don't remember exactly what was going on in the dream, but like those were like that row home, like that, it was weird. Like the end of it was like, I can't explain it to you guys really well right now, but like trust me when I'm saying, like it was exactly like my dream, but just
Yeah.
not complete yet. It was, the structure was there, but it wasn't built. I'm like, holy shit, I've seen this before. This is crazy.
Dude, it's we're in the murky waters now, dude. Like I see 2 hours. Yeah, you guys want to just bounce and come back and take a quick nap and like geek out, dude. Oh my god, I like because I toy around with like all the timelines happening at the same time, and then like you can kind of access this information when like this is the big thing. So transcendence on the last record, the whole thing was derived from an idea about we're just universal like antennas, and you tap into this universal consciousness, whatever it is. I'm not talking religion, I'm not talking any of that shit. It's just there's this universal consciousness, and you tap into this with your head, and you pull this information, and it's all readily available to you at all times. It's just you have to know how to tap into it, and maybe you just tapped into what was going on ahead of time. I don't know, could be.
I don't know either, dude.
Or I could be off my rocker and you just lost a ton of listeners, you know?
No, dude, that happened. The dream happened years ago.
I know.
Like,
so
years.
it doesn't matter. Dude, Interstellar, he ends up behind the bookcase, bro.
Oh, it's a spoiler. I've never seen it.
7 years later.
I'm literally kidding. Well, I haven't seen it, but like, dude, it's like it's been out for like.
As if the movie came out last week.
I'm like, I guess we don't know everything about one another.
Yeah.
So you've seen that movie in memes by now.
So yeah, man, wild stuff like that happens. Like there were serious times where I had legit like I called it, and it was crazy shit that I should not have been able to call. I like you had that vision of the the dream of the houses, and then you go by and you see it, you're like, holy shit, it connects. I've had that where like I had a dream that something was really wrong with my uncle, and I was like my uncle Jerry. I was like, something is terribly wrong with him. I called my dad the next day, freaked out. I'm like, it was so real. It was like everybody was crying because he was dead. 2 weeks later, he died, and I was like, he wasn't even sick. Like it was wacky. So like I had Tyler with what happened with him when you got COVID that time when you went down to Florida with Jay. Before you texted me, I texted it to saying Tyler has COVID, and then 2 days later you told me you had COVID. It was wild.
My job didn't know that.
What?
My job didn't know that, so now I'm getting fired.
Oh boy. well, either
I've got like 5 listeners. Don't worry about it.
dude, stuff like that happens, and I think that people just, like, need to start paying attention to it. It could be the next part of human evolution or something. I don't know, but
Dude, you knew I had
it's-
COVID before I had COVID.
I know dude, I felt it in my stomach.
For the listeners, by the way,
Shit.
Tyler is making a drink for him and Jay, so he had to go.
What are you guys drinking?
I got a gin and tonic going on.
You know, I keep that thing on me, little Poland Spring.
He's got a White Russian
and
vodka seltzer over there.
vodka seltzer.
Yo, well, hold on. White Russian. This is it's a Thursday like evening.
Don't look at me, man.
Thursday, never mind Thursday evening. It could be a Tuesday morning, and you could go for a White Russian.
What's everyone's problem?
I'm not, dude. I'm not mad at you. I mean, I'm a huge Big Lebowski fan. Before I'm a big White Russian fan. But I don't know. Like, I've never had someone pull up to a podcast sipping on a White Russian.
Well,
Yeah, now you have first time for everything.
Yeah.
first time
That's
for
amazing. Gin and tonic. What kind of gin?
Hendrix.
Hendrix. Not a big gin guy.
No,
Neither am I. Every time they have it, I'm just like, give me something else.
What's your take on the gin blossoms?
Love them. Love gin blossoms.
There you go.
What do you got behind you? You got some local brew there to your right.
No, this one.
Oh, that's yours, right?
This is mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I partnered with a brewing company last October, and we made a beer and we sold it, and we raised a bunch of money, and then donated it to my high school.
I think
Wow.
that's cool.
That's awesome.
I saw some other charitable stuff you were doing where during the pandemic you were helping bands, but like it was the like the businesses where like they didn't consider themselves businesses, and you were like, nah, I'm stepping in and taking care of this.
Yeah, so
And
we
set up
called
that
it
shirt site?
Shirts for the Scene.
Sure,
And I stole it actually. So it's funny. I stole it from the company. I stole it from the company I currently work for. When the pandemic hit, the screen printing company, it's called Axelrad Screen Printing and Embroidery, in Wilkes-Barre. And so when the pandemic hit, Tyler Rice, one of the guys that has been there forever, really talented graphic designer, talented like sales guy. He's a jack of all trades. He's good dude. He's like, what if we create shirts and for businesses and sell them, and then let's say they're $20 or whatever. They took the cut that cost them to produce, and then gave the other half of it or whatever to the local businesses. And I think there was like $88,000 we ended up donating to our local area.
Dude, that's huge.
It was
During the
nuts.
pandemic, when businesses are shut down, that's huge, man.
And it was wild. And I wasn't working there yet, but I was part of it just because I've known the owner forever. I want to see if I can find the
Go ahead, stream.
what
No,
do you
come
call it?
back. I'm gonna drink.
Put more in this so you don't taste the chips.
I'm trying to find the exact number. But so later on, when I launched this podcast, I wanted to launch it with like kind of a mission, I guess you could say. So I was like, how do I'm going to steal your idea. I asked them for permission, obviously. I needed their help to print them. I said, all right, it was $87,550
Nice.
to local businesses.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is insane.
They helped 285 businesses over that time. So yeah, awesome. A great this area, just that's what we do. We're we take care of our own, which is great. But back to the band thing, so I stole their idea. I asked them permission because again, I didn't want to steal it without asking them permission, and also I needed their help. So I called it Shirts for the Scene, and we basically sold shirts on a website of every local or every band that wanted to be part of it. And so if you bought a shirt for $20 or whatever it was, half that or whatever the total went to the band. So
Cool.
some made $600, some made $100, whatever it was. But total we raised about 10 grand.
Dude, but that's big because at the time bands weren't touring. Like, there wasn't really anything going on. What are they relying on? Like stream number, and like streaming doesn't pay out. So
No.
what else
So
is there?
So yeah, I mean, like it was I've always been in the scene, I guess you could say. I used to work for an entertainment newspaper. I then went from there to radio, where I had a radio show. and featured local bands for an hour a week on that. And then the station changed formats. The show got canceled. I
That
started
was
this
the Christmas
podcast.
stuff, right? Where they like took over and did like a bunch of Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
Get ready, man. Get ready.
It's about to happen again as we speak.
I think it starts again on that station probably the day after Thanksgiving. Whatever.
Wow, they wasted
See,
no time.
No,
No.
for me, I think that's an acceptable time. Yes, it's still early, but like that's kind of when the Christmas music starts or the holiday music.
Yeah, when you walk
But
into every convenience store. And
I
like,
think some people really push it, and it's actually your birthday where they start playing the holiday music.
Right. Yeah.
It's right after Halloween. They
Too
don't
soon.
skip a beat, and they're just that is too soon.
Dude, go into a store right now. There's Christmas shit out.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
I already heard.
Well, you can sell it. I just don't want to hear Mariah Carey until the week of Christmas. I just don't want to hear it.
You hush your mouth. I love Mariah Carey.
I
remember
meant
being
to talk.
A young child when Honey came out. Oh,
Oh, man.
she's coming out of the pool in that bathing suit.
Yep.
This is getting real weird real quick.
Hey man, we're friends here.
No, but yeah, so it was I wanted to do something cool and helpful, and I didn't want this just to be a podcast. I wanted this to be a platform for good and all that kind of stuff. And then last year, we did the beer and raised $2,000 and donated to my high school music program. It was cool because the owners of the brewery, they also went to the same high school as I did. So it all worked out. And obviously you guys probably know this. The first things that get cut at high schools are the arts. You know, the football team gets their money, the baseball team, the soccer teams, they get their money. It's always a struggle for the arts. And it was really cool. Like there were so many people that came out and they're like, you know, if it weren't for the music program, you know, I don't know where I'd be, you know. So it was cool that how receptive people were. 'Cause I didn't think people would care. Like it was sold out in 2 days.
Wow.
And I just, again, like, I mean, I've been around for a while and I have a quote unquote name for myself, but I don't view it that way. And I really didn't think people would care. And thankfully I was wrong.
But
So,
I mean, it is an important cause because I don't know what we'd be doing. Like, granted, I started out in orchestra, and my teacher would get pissed because I didn't want to read the sheet music. I would just memorize it, because I just like jamming. But still, like,
read that. Are you kidding me?
yeah, but still, the idea of like jam, that's where that started, like so early, and for the people to not have the funding to continue doing that, and like I don't know what I would be doing.
Yeah.
I'm a graphic designer by trade, so I guess I would just be doing that. But like not having that outlet outside of work, like it's nuts. And it all started there. So
Yeah.
art's super important.
it is super important. And my mom wanted me to play an instrument when I was younger. And I wish they were more realistic with me. I wanted to play sports. I wanted to play, you know, music back then wasn't sexy. You know, she presented it the wrong way too. She's like, how about you play the banjo? You want to learn the banjo? I'm like, fuck no, mom. I'm 5'7". You know, I'm 5 foot. Like, I think I peaked at 5'10". But you know, back in the day, I'm 5'7" and white, mom. I'm going to the NBA. Like, get out of here with that nonsense. Yeah, I just had no interest back then. I was playing baseball and basketball, and if I could go back in time, I would, because I would love to be able to play. I have no musical talent whatsoever. This is my way to be involved in it. So
Oh yeah, man.
I guess I'll serve the purpose here. If that,
Dude, it finds a way. If you're stoked on that type of thing, then you're just dive into it. You know, it doesn't matter how you do it. You just dive in and you enjoy yourself. So
yeah, well, I
Clearly
mean,
it's tough.
you know, thank you, Joe Rogan, for having a wonderful podcast that made me want to be a podcaster. And then shout out to PK, who gave me a chance on the radio back in the day. And then here I am.
Sweet,
So,
man.
good stuff.
In fact,
We
I
wouldn't
just
be here without you.
I printed this shirt. I'm gonna send it to Joe Rogan.
I like the
Yeah,
color.
I like those.
I like
Yeah,
that.
it's
Is it?
Oh, there it is.
it's his bar inside of his club.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's what
Wait, is it the mothership?
I've heard him.
Well, Mitzi's is the bar inside the
Oh,
mothership.
Yep.
Got you.
So
From
I'm
Mitzi's part.
gonna try and get in. and hopefully print some merch for him. We'll see.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh, yeah,
That'd be
dude.
sick.
Hopefully it arrives by the time of this airs. I just got the final piece done today, so I gotta pack it nice and hopefully it gets to him.
Dude,
But
he
he's
just
always
did a
there.
he just did a collab with some kid that does like custom sneakers, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I saw that. And I'm like, all these celebrities are like super accessible, like more accessible than you think. I get that he says that he doesn't check his messages and all that stuff, but he's got a team, and if something piques their interest, then I'm sure that you could at least get a line over there.
Yeah, well, so I have a whole box to send him, and he's always at the club, right? So I figure if I'm gonna send it there. If it gets to him, great. I'm just hoping that whoever gets it, like at least shows it to him, and then
Yeah.
if he sees it, like worst case scenario is he does nothing. Best case scenario is he calls me up and says, "Yo, this shit's sick. I want to print some of these designs with you." Middle of the road is like maybe he wears it on one of his podcasts and be like, "Yo, we fucking printed that."
That would be awesome.
That'd be enough for me.
Yeah.
Dude, and you would see spikes for sure from them
That'd be sweet.
with the amount of people that watch that and listen to him. Like,
11 million an episode,
ridiculous.
which is crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we got off topic. I told you we would.
We're
told you.
your guys for going off topic.
All right.
No, I love it. I love
I'm
it.
enjoying this,
Nothing wrong with
man.
that.
I love it. Well, I mean, again, I wanted to have this as a platform for musicians to talk about, how they started, the stuff they're working on, the stuff they're planning for the future. But I also wanted to be able to like give a kind of a background about you guys too, and people get to know you outside of just the music because you could do I used to do radio interviews, but those minute segments, and those are the canned questions of like, hey, you have a new record coming out, what's it called, how did you get the band name, blah blah blah, like it's stupid shit. This is like a more in-depth
Oh yeah.
Sure.
where you could talk about dreams
That's what I'm talking about.
and how they work into. But I mean, back to your first record real quick, with the Night Swim on it. I feel like a lot of those songs are a lot of maybe real experiences. Is that accurate?
That is accurate for sure.
And everything's really consistent. I mean, your second single off that you had a video for was the song called Fox.
Mhm.
Now, I like the song, but that's not the second single I would have.
That's what I said.
What would you have thrown out there?
I'm torn between two or three of them.
Hey, that's good. That's
Yeah.
a good answer.
Yeah.
That's good.
3 other songs that are single worthy.
Yes.
Flattered.
So cuffing
Yeah,
season,
The first
Yeah.
song.
cuffing
Right on.
season, I think is a strong contender.
Okay.
And then there was one I can't say the word. I can't even say it.
Piacere.
That's the one.
Got you.
That's the one. I'm like, I can't even say this.
I think that is like someone made a comment like that shows how much chemistry we have together when we play that and practice that, and we'll obviously have fans and friends over practice here and there, and they kind of say like that's the song where you can just tell you guys have been playing together for a long time. And yeah, I love jamming that song. That's a great song.
That post intro section, just like
Yeah.
like I always look at you and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Riding that
Just
wave,
vibing.
I mean,
But
the whole thing's consistent. It's all consistent. Like there's, which I think is great. There's bands who have like certain songs that are like just kind of like completely different from everything else. And I think this is all pretty consistent, which I really enjoy.
Thank
For
you.
what that's worth. But talk about some of these songs or at least experiences that some of these songs stem from, and then we'll get on to where we're heading.
Before Keith speaks, you can choose one other one, but you're doing above and below, 100%.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're doing above and
We'll do
below.
above and below. Oh my god.
I think lyrically, that's one of my favorite. A lot of people
It's
told me
hilarious.
that's theirs. It's just a great song and setup for it. But hit them with another song first, and then we'll do above and below.
Okay, so
I'm sorry I had to come in there.
No, that's good.
You're absolutely right. Though.
You are welcome here.
Talk
You
to
are
our guy.
welcome.
You gotta tell him what we did.
for For what?
I think it was when we were writing that.
For
the-
Above and
When we
Below?
were writing Above and Below.
Oh my God.
Remember what we
Okay,
did?
yes, I do remember what we
Okay.
did. So I'll start
Bookmark
with
As long
them
as
both.
you include that.
Bookmark
I
them
will
both.
put in.
We'll bookmark it.
So with Piacere, that was my first time out of the country. So Piacere is nice to, like, pleasure to meet you, nice to meet you in Italian. And I had been going back and forth with a friend in Italy. Like I met her on Instagram and we were talking for quite a while. And then she invited me to come out to Italy to meet her and her parents, and like she was gonna be like my tour guide, and like the local friend that would show you all the cool stuff, show you like the touristy stuff, but also show you like real Italy, like how things are. And so me and my buddy Mike shout out to Italy for like 10 days. Shout out Mike Marino. Thank you for taking that trip with me. It was my first time out of the country, and I feel like being kind of out of my element, and I let her be at the wheel. Like we had nothing to do with what was planned, where we were going, what we were doing. We didn't know the language. By the end of the time there, I started picking up on like direction cues and stuff. Like I could kind of hang a little bit, but I'm the American guy. I don't know how to speak Italian. Like they could be telling me to go fuck myself. I have no idea. So I have a lot of anxiety when I don't know what's going on, or I don't have a grip on what's happening. So that was kind of like a challenge for me to go over there and be like, can I read as the person that I truly am and not let the anxiety get in the way? And as the trip commenced and then continued, I realized that I really didn't have my anxiety in check. I was really worried a lot of the time. I was stressed. I was just tired. It was a fun trip. She did a phenomenal job showing us around, and I would do it again. Absolutely. But I just found that I wasn't the person that she thought that I was through like the DMing and FaceTime calls and stuff. Like you really only present the best of who you are when you're chatting with someone for a little bit of time, or you put your best foot forward. But at that time, I was dealing with feeling so like isolated and unsure of myself and weird. So I was just being weird. I felt like I was just being not the best version of myself. Didn't mean I was an asshole. It just meant that I kind of had my head up my ass a little bit, and she picked up on that. And
So was
she
this like was this like a romantic thing?
It was not really. It was more like we met and then we hit it off, and you just kind of go and you meet up. And so it ultimately, she had told me, she's like, I thought that you would be way chiller, like you're
Right.
really stressed out, and like you really need to like take the edge off a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was very much like a learning experience for me.
A girl after my own heart.
Yeah, it was a learning experience for me to like really try and take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit. So in the song, I talk about how the beginning, like, oh my God, carelessly we walked with our heads to the sky, the crystals on our tongues and diamonds in our eyes. Like everything is great. Like this is going really well. But I want to go back there. Like I want to like kind of redeem myself. And throughout that whole thing, by the time you get to the outro, I'm like, I'll remember what you said in your sister's apartment. She did look at me so genuinely, and basically told me that I just need to chill the fuck out, and I kind of took that with me. So that song was about the experience that I had there, enjoying myself, and then realizing that I need to do some work on myself. So that was.
And this next song
So
is it?
yeah, Alex wants I don't know if it was Above and Below one of the other one. Was there another one that you wanted?
I just those two like were the I don't, but this is fine. Above and Below. Like let's talk about it.
All right, cool. So
It's way easier.
Hit 'em.
thank you for the setup.
Hit 'em.
So that Above and Below
Similar
is
concept,
yeah, right. It's like a 50-50 split between something that's really good and something that's really bad. The bad happening first, the good happening, afterwards. So the backstory on it is that when I was 15 years old, actually when I was in 5th grade, my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer. So from the time of being in 5th grade up through 10th grade for a 5-year span, she was battling breast cancer. We had her mother living with us, so my grandmother, and she didn't really bring much to the table. She was one of those people that I can confidently say is just in the way, and I was not stoked on how she handled my mom. Like my mom was sick, and my mom would drive my grandmother around to all of her doctor's appointments, and hearing specialists, and my mom would go grocery shopping coming straight off of chemo. Like, she would be doing everything, and my grandma would be doing absolutely nothing. My grandma's my mom's mom. You'd think that she would have some sort of motherly instinct to try and help her daughter. So growing up, she wasn't mean or malicious, but she was just indifferent, and I started getting pissed with her. I'm like, this is not how you should be treating your daughter. Like, you should be stepping up. Like, everyone here is stepping up. And right when my mom had to go into hospice because she was, her health was declining, my grandma was just like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go move in with my other daughter upstate. And to me, I looked at it as, you're abandoning your daughter when she absolutely needs someone the most. Granted, my dad was the one keeping everybody together. My dad, me, and my sister, we were the nucleus of that household, making sure that everything was running right. I was still young at the time. I was 15. So, it was really like my dad was the rock, and my sister was coming in to make sure that everything was cool. And my grandma just flew the coop. She just bounced. And I was like, this bitch. I was so angry. I was so angry with her. So the first part of Above and Below is about how my grandmother abandoned my mother when she needed her the most. And then eventually when my grandmother died, I didn't feel anything. I was like, good. Like, now you know what it's like. I was so upset with her, with how she acted with my mom. Selfish, showing up to the hospice. She has a cane and she's like, I got this cane, but I don't want to use it. Just like, you're making it about you. Like, this is about the woman dying in the fucking hospice right now. So all of that anger came through in the beginning of that song. But then it's contrasted by the way that I felt towards my mom. My mom was a saint. She was the absolute best. So, I held her to a very, very high regard. I had her on a pedestal. Like, she was the best. And right before she had passed away, like when she was still coherent, before she went into hospice, we kind of saw the writing on the wall. And she pulled me aside because I told my dad, look, I want to have a conversation with her. Like, I think closure is very important. And if this is headed where I think it's going, like, I would like that opportunity to be able to talk in this open, honest, transparent way. So she pulls me into her bedroom, and she's relaxing, and she basically told me that she was proud of me, all this stuff, like stuff that a great mother would say to a son that she really loved. And one of the lines in the song, it says, I was your shining star, I hope you know you're mine. She wrote a note for me when she passed away that said that I was her shining star, and she had told me that verbally before she passed too. So that whole part of the song is about me showing respect and love for my mother, and just being so happy that I had that experience with her. And even though it was a terrible situation, like, I value her so much, despite hating her mother for a while.
So rub that in your sister's face a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, check out this note.
no, she loved my sister. She said a lot of good stuff about my sister too. It was even. I'm sure, but
I'm joking.
I know. But my family's
Say,
gonna
like,
watch.
check this note.
But
She liked it.
yeah, so a lot of the stuff is from real life. A lot of the stuff is very personal, whether it be a situation that I went through or just internal anxiety that I'm trying to work through.
And we start that song with, like, usually Keith's just like, fuck my grandma, let's get this shit going. And then we start the song.
We definitely jokingly, it does turn some heads a little bit. But what you were saying, what you were saying that we did something.
I was saying,
Is this when we went to Rev?
yeah.
So I had to go pick up paper. So that grandmother that died, at that point, I had already written the lyrics about this. I'd already written the lyrics about this. And at the time, there was a venue called Revolution that was right across from like a funeral home place, Abbey. And we went to see my buddy Danny, Heavy Tides Music, play. And then after we finished there, I went right across the street, totally not dressed in the proper attire, to go pick up paperwork just to get time off from work. I'm like, I'm not even here to show respect. I'm here to get paperwork and bounce. And I brought Jay with me because we had to go to practice later. We go back to practice and he goes, do you know what this psycho just had me do? So it's, to go back, a lot of it is very much rooted in reality. I shape it, as I said, I shaped some stuff off dreams, some stuff off of internal anxiety, but a lot of it is rooted based on actual experiences where I'm being as vulnerable as I possibly can be. Like we've joked where I'm like, when I'm happy, I can't write music. Like I need to be going through something or having something going on so that it's as genuine as possible.
Preferably single, but
no.
yeah, you write better when you're sad.
No, we're the third record's all about regrowth.
Yeah,
baby.
but
It's all pivoted.
that's sad, lonely lyrics.
Sad, lonely Keith cranked
Very
out a lot of
relatable.
lyrics.
There's a lot more sad, lonely people to relate to that. Yeah.
But I know that's super heavy, and that could
No.
come across like, oh, he's an asshole for hating his grandma. But I'm hoping that the context
That's
provided.
the whole point of the song.
I know, but I'm hoping. But now it's funny because we wrote that song a couple years ago, and since then I have actually gotten distance from it, and I'm like, you know what? The indifference towards you turned to hate. It's back to that. I get why she did what she did. She got out of the way because she knew she would be in the way, and I'm like, you know what?
Part two
is what it is. So I think it all came full circle, and everybody has their family stuff that goes on in their lives. I just chose to write about it and be as vulnerable as I could, and hopefully people see that it's raw and truthful. That's all I can be, raw and truthful.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. So first of all, I'm really sorry to hear about your mother passing, especially at such a young age. That's obviously not something that's anyone should have to go through, and I can't imagine what that's like at that age. I lost my father. I was 22, so I mean, I was a little older. It's part of life, right? It's. I feel bad for my brothers who were much younger than I was. They were, I want to say, 16 and 13, and my mom who watched her mother suffer a brain aneurysm, and she took care of her for 2 years. And then when she passed away, my mom was like, okay, I can finally get back to my family and, pay attention to my husband again. And we can kind of like move forward. And then he passed away like 5 months later. So it's definitely a dynamic change. It was, I always wonder how things would be if he was still around, just because it definitely changed our family just because of, we lost a big piece of it. But I don't want to get too much into that. I want to focus on, what you're talking about here. And it's cool that you want to talk about that in your music, and then also like tell people what it's about, because a lot of bands don't want to tell people what their song is about because they want to let someone hear it and kind of take from it what they want to, right?
For sure.
And apply it to their life and their current situation or whatever it might be. So it's cool that you're so vulnerable. You're taking these life experiences, you're taking these dreams you're having, you're taking these things that even the dreams are fake. You're still taking things that you're experiencing and putting pen to paper or whatever it is, and creating this music that is also really good.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just so as far as the band's concerned, I feel like the lyrics and the stories or whatever they might be kind of come first, right? And then you guys write around that, or is it like do they have songs written and you kind of apply your stories and your experiences to that?
Like I find that when we were writing, a lot of the times, like I'll start with like some chords and stuff, but as I'm playing it, I'm hearing things, and I do write a lot in like Notepad first, and I'm like, what could go with what? But then it's almost like things start happening simultaneously to create the foundation of the song, at least. Like it's definitely not a polished product up front. It's you hear a line or you write something down. Like I'm driving in the car on the way to work and I have an idea, so I throw it on my voice memo, and then it starts to develop from there. But a lot of the times I do start thinking about what I want to say first, because I'm like, I just want this to be raw. I want this to be truthful. And I don't want to just hear chords and then be like, oh, I could throw a cliche here and a catchy hook, and then there you go. It's like sometimes that works, but I think it starts out more historically, not necessarily how we're writing all the time, but on average, a lot of the times the story does come, a lot of it first, and then we all piece together the music. And I'm so sorry, I really have to use the band. No, so sorry. I'm so sorry. I held out as long as I could, John.
I might have to go eventually too, so it's all good.
Full of a podcast.
No, but I mean, it's I love music when it's raw, when it's real, when it's and he said before, like he or you said rather, Tyler, you said that he writes better when he's sad or when he's single or whatever. And I talked to a lot of bands, right? And that's a common thing. I can't imagine if I had to write a song, like, you know, if I'm happy and like everything's perfect, like how do you write it? How do you write a song? You know, it's
Yeah, it's just different content, you know.
It's
Uh,
fun.
Definitely different.
And first of all, we love Lily. Like his,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
no, that's a
that is
joke,
just
you know?
it's literally just an inside joke.
It's just
That's fine.
you're right. You get to
is Lily the current love interest?
yes.
That
Okay.
is correct.
Shout out
We
Lily.
love her very much.
We love Lily.
We're talking shit about your girl, man.
She's a saint. She's the best.
Yeah, she is. Honestly, yeah.
No, we were just talking about like, you know, how I love just like the realness of the music and the lyrics and all that kind of stuff across all forms, really. Like I just love when people are kind of vulnerable. Like they just kind of put it out there and they talk about real experiences, because like we're all going through that shit. Like there's somebody out there going through it. It's probably more than we think there is. And you know, I'm sure when someone hears that, it's like, you know, I can relate to that.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's like the biggest thing in my mind with that. Sure, it's like it's an outlet, it's a release for me when I'm like when I feel shitty. But I know that a lot, like that's why a lot of bands do it. Like I want people to be able to relate to the music, not just because I want people to stream the music and hear it and enjoy it, but like I do want them to take something from it, and I want to leave a piece of myself behind. Like we're only going to be here as long as we're going to be here, and I think you and I both know that for sure firsthand, having been through the things that we've been through. You know, I think when you lose someone at such a young age, or you're around people like that have lost, you know, experienced that level of loss at a young age, that the priorities start shifting, and you realize like, yo, we're really not here for a long time. You know, people, you could say it, people say it all the time, you know, it's just like, yeah, death and taxes, haha, like I get it.
Yeah.
But you know, until it really sinks in and you go, oh shit, it's that moment when that when the switch flips, and then you start looking at it as a bigger thing. And I'm like, I want to be able to preserve a piece of myself after I'm gone. Like I don't know, have you ever seen that movie A Ghost Story with Casey Affleck?
No.
It's
I don't either.
I'm not going to spoil it then, but
You can spoil it,
no,
but-
but you know, the main theme is, you know, leaving a piece behind after you're gone. There's a whole monologue in there where someone at a party is just talking about that, and I'm like, that resonated with me so much. I'm like, that is exactly what I'm feeling. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it comes from an egotistical or a selfish point of view of like, I want people to know me.
No.
It's not that. It's
No.
I want to preserve those ideologies, because then maybe they could help someone that's been through something that I've been through, where they could take it, like you said, if you leave it ambiguous, if you leave the definition out, then people can take whatever they want from it and apply it to their lives. And it's like, yeah, I can explain what goes on and I could tell you how I relate to it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Once it's out in the public and people are listening to it, it's yours. It's not mine anymore. But we are the ones that created it, and you know, I'm really stoked to be able to do this with them. You know,
Yeah. Well, think about this, right? Like, you know, you guys are in a band, you're creating music, you guys are going to leave a legacy regardless if you think it's that or not, right? I'm not sure if any of you have kids or plan on having kids, or one day, let's say you do have children, like they're going to have something to reference when you're gone. And I think that's so important. Well, maybe it's not kid, maybe it's, you know, a wife or a girlfriend or whatever it might be. Like that's why I love doing this too. Like, because when I'm gone, my kids can, you know, go on YouTube and watch these if they wanted to. Like what I wouldn't give to hear my dad's voice one more time, you know, because you know, you don't ever expect it to happen. You know, you don't get a plan for that. Like it's and I forget what it sounds like, you know. It maybe my voice sounds like his. I don't know, but it's cool to be able to, and the point is it's cool to be able to kind of leave these things behind. And it's definitely cool that you guys are creating this music together, and it'll always be around.
Yeah. It's
Smart.
like it's gonna outlast your body.
Yeah.
Like eventually we all die. We all fade out one way or another. You die. You die twice. You die the day you die, and you die the day that people stop talking about you, or whatever your ideologies were, or your beliefs, or stuff you made. And
Yeah.
I want us to be able to be around as long as possible.
Try turning 40. Last year was a real hard year for me. It was because in my mind I'm like, let's just say that God willing, I live till I'm 80. Let's be realistic. Living to 100 is maybe an option, maybe. But let's just 80 80s. I think 80 is even high, right? I think the average age for a man right now is like 76. So my life's more than half over. But like let's just say 80 when I turn 40. I have 40 years left. And then I'm like, how many of those 40 years are going to be good years? Meaning no real health issues, no, knee problems, no hip problems, no nothing. Like 15, maybe 20, half those.
It's like
if I'm lucky, you never know, man. It's just like, and
Stop thinking like that. That's the problem.
that's the problem. But no, it's
your life. Just live
you're right, dude. You're absolutely right. I get that too. It's just like live for the moment, live in the now.
When you describe it like that, it sounds it sounds
emo.
Not emo. It just sounds like
A little bit.
it doesn't sound as exciting.
That's me.
Like it should be exciting. Like 40,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I'm not
40, and I could feasibly do another 40. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I
don't
but
know.
That's honestly,
You
that's
don't
what,
even look for it.
Then you definitely, judging by how you look, probably got more than 40. So
Fingers crossed. If I didn't have kids, I probably wouldn't care.
right.
It's
As long as
a-
it's like leave them with like a good future, then it really
but
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
but like I want to live forever now. Like I didn't care before, but like having kids, like I want to live forever.
Yeah.
There's not a moment in my life that I don't want to be around them. I want to see them, go through school and meet the love of their life, and their jobs and marriage and all that stuff. I want to be around for all of it. And God willing, I will be. But I don't take care of myself, man. I eat like a raccoon. It sucks. Like it's just trying to survive. It's I don't know.
I do. Before I turned 30, I was eating a third of an Entenmann's cake every morning. And then I felt my metabolism slow down, and I went, "Oh, we got to pump the brakes. This is a problem."
Started getting rid of jeans left and right.
Yeah, dude. I started like, "Can you guys fit in these jeans?" Went up and
Throwing my
Can't
clothes
do
away.
can't do it. Can't eat like I did when I was in my 20s.
I think I gained like 15 pounds over the past year. We had our daughter last July, so she is just over a year old now. But thank you. In the past year, I think I've gained 40 pounds, or not, Jesus Christ, 15 pounds. And it's because I turned 40. I don't eat great. I don't eat terribly, but I don't eat great. And my sleep is just dog shit. Like, and that's her fault. That's 100% her fault. I'm gonna blame her for that every day until she starts sleeping through the night. She's been good the last like week, so I'm hoping for the best. But
And when she's older, she's gonna listen to this episode and be like, "Oh, was I really that bad?"
she could be worse, but she could be a lot better. I mean, initially it was a bad time, but I don't know. But I mean, you guys have a new record basically ready to go, right?
Yeah.
Jesus. I mean,
Finally.
when we started on this shit.
I know. We tracked it like this. We tracked it last October. So we've been sitting on it for
a year.
Yeah, dude.
What are you guys doing?
We're perfectionists, man. We're perfectionists.
I'll tell you what we're doing. We were driving our producer crazy is what we were doing.
Oh my God.
I gotta shout out Billy Pfister of Westfall Recording Company in Farmingdale. He
Just
has been Westfall in
Westfall,
general. Anthony and Ray, everybody there is awesome. But we worked with Billy on this record, and he has been, he's our friend, but he's been the absolute best.
We've done metal, not all of it. We've done metal with them.
Yeah,
We
we've
did
done metal,
premium
alt
stuff.
rock,
We've done
but
this with them. Like
he was super patient with us. He was always like, down to explore different options. And if we were like, yeah, we think this could sound better, we reamped twice. Like we did things that are a little out of the norm, I feel, of
Really,
the
three
actual
times.
procedure.
Three
Yeah,
times.
really 3 times. You know, he's one of those dudes that's just down to like roll his sleeves up and get dirty and get the shit
You like
sounding nice.
stumble on
So
something nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you know, I gotta like we would be stupid if we didn't say a huge thank you right now to him, because we were really stoked on the way this record sounds, and we really hope that
Yeah.
you know, when we drop it, you guys like it.
Put
Yeah,
some,
and,
put some late nights in with Billy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when
Oh my God.
we're expecting to drop a couple singles within
Very soon.
Yeah, very
Couple
soon.
weeks.
I'd say a couple weeks when this comes out. I'm sure we'll have one of the songs out most likely. So
We're we're trying to stagger the releases, so it'd be like
Sure.
you know, you don't see bands drop full albums in one clip anymore. It's like, you know, Take Back Sunday, even they released a couple, maybe 5. I think they're up to
Yeah.
5 now. The
Did
new
a couple
record.
singles.
Yeah.
So it's just single after single after single, and I think we're just gonna, you know, release maybe even the whole thing as singles, and then at the end of the rainbow, throw it all together on one album, so it's easier for people to stream instead of having to jump from single to single on your
do you-
streaming platform.
How do you guys? What do you think about that?
I think it gives an opportunity to give character to each song. So like I do a lot of the album artwork. Jay, you know, we all work
Yeah.
together to make it happen. I do the edits for it, like we're shooting stuff, and I feel like it's a good way to keep up promotion. And I feel like at times we've run dry on promotion in the past, where if we're not playing a ton of shows and we don't have all that much to put out, if you stagger 10 songs over 20 weeks, you have 20 weeks worth of content every other week, you can build hype for each individual thing.
We've never done this before. So,
I'm
it's-
kind of modeling it after what Chiodos did with their Devil album, because they dropped that whole album basically as singles, but they did it with a music video component, which I don't think we can
Yeah,
swing,
that'd be
honestly.
a lot of money.
But that would be insane. But I know that as a user, as a fan, I was like, when is the next one?
When's
What's
the
the
next
next
one
one
coming?
going to be? Like, you know, it gave me something to look forward to in the short term. And I feel like with the dwindling attention spans of the modern listener, you're like, you got to keep feeding them. You
Yeah.
got to keep giving them something. And I feel like, yeah,
I'm with that.
you know, just give them something in little increments,
Especially in
and
like
keep them
that's
coming
even
back.
that's like 10 times even more in like in metal. It's even worse. Like if you write something even semi sounding like some other bands, like everyone in the scene will call you out for that.
Oh, of
I've
course,
heard that
yeah.
before. I've heard that it's so much worse. Like it's you gotta be. That's
So-
why it took us a year and a half to get 6 songs. You know.
Yeah, at
On
that
top,
point.
on top of
But-
not being trained musicians at all.
Oh
We
my
just-
God.
we
No
just
education.
we're just screwing around till
Yeah.
we find something that sounds good. at
But
this
we were
point.
talking about going back in time. That's what I would have changed. I think I would have told my parents to like force me to get a musical education. Instead, they bought me like they did everything but that. They just bought me a drum set and said, "Here you go." And I was like, honestly, you guys should have been
Alright,
stricter.
banging.
Like instead of just like letting me just bang the drums, you should have gotten me someone to like tell me, you know, it's not their fault, but like that, you know, that's what I would have.
Yeah, but maybe you wouldn't be who you are.
No, I probably wouldn't have met them
Yeah.
because I would have had like some formal education. You know,
Yeah,
like,
it's
You might
all
have even taken a disinterest into music at that point.
right, and would have
Who
made me
knows?
like different music. I would have
Yep.
been introduced to different music.
it's all good. It's all good.
It really is.
Well, what do you think about
No
the
regrets.
situation?
No regret.
So so I'll give my 2 cents.
Yeah,
I love it and I hate it.
Same.
I hate it because I grew up listening to CDs start to finish. Right?
Man.
Yeah.
Bands
it.
wrote music, they recorded songs and they put the songs 1 through 10 like for a reason to be listened to that way,
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. I also liked, I mean, granted, I hated having to wait 2 years to get new music from my favorite artists.
Mhm.
But like when it finally came out, it was like a fucking moment. Like
Oh yeah.
I could tell you, for some of my favorite artists, like almost to the day it was released, because it was just like, like the time of year, like it was just I attached it to maybe a girl I was dating, or just a moment in my life. Maybe it's a part of my job or whatever it might have been. Like it came out like it was attached to something because it was like special, right? Now it's not like that, which I like, because you also get more quote unquote from your favorite artist more often, right?
Mhm.
I get a new song every 6 weeks or whatever it might be, which is cool.
Mhm.
especially in this day and age where, you know, the attention span, like you said, is short. But, you know, I just listened to the Menzingers album that came out, I think last Thursday, which was weird because it came out on a Thursday and not a Friday. I don't know why that happened, but um, when I started listening to it, I'm like, I feel like it's like I've already heard these songs. Like, I don't care anymore
Yeah.
Yeah.
to a degree. Like, there were songs obviously I didn't hear because they didn't release all of them, but
Right.
it's still that I don't know. Like,
Did it feel like
it's part of
the
the yeah, it's part of the it's just how things are now. I get it. Like, I'm not mad at it. I'm not gonna like, you know, shake my fist in the air and, you know, boycott music, but it's just a different, you know, way of doing things.
Yeah, it's weird, like,
I
because
hate-
you're right. In putting, you do put the, you know, the songs in the order that you want them to be in for a specific reason. There's a through line, there's one relates to another, there's a plethora of reasons why you would do that. And I think we were talking about releasing actually in order of like front to back, not starting with what would be deemed as the strongest, you know, which could, you know, it's, I don't know, we're kind of in uncharted territory on our end. But I think trying to keep up just promotion and like keeping content, it's tough. I agree with you in that when a band would drop an album, you have this, oh my God, I was waiting for this. I get the whole thing now. I could really digest it front to back. Like I definitely dove into that too. So it's, you know, it's valuable information, you know, like we've asked a bunch of people and we've got varied answers too. So it's very interesting to see how certain people think and other people think, and then you kind of take an average and you're like, is this a good idea? Like, I don't know, you know, it's cool. It's all trial and error.
But like you
But-
said, it's content. Like in like, you know, this day and age, content is king. Like you gotta, you know, if you disappear for, you know, 2 months, people think you guys quit.
Yeah,
It's
Probably
Yeah.
this is probably my least favorite part of the music scene now.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah,
everything that I listened to on my Walkman when I was a kid, like all those bands got famous because they wrote amazing fucking music. There was no content. It was just I heard their music and this band is amazing.
Yeah.
And I saw them live and they play it live and like it's different now. I hate that we can't just survive with just really good music. You know, it would have to be damn good. We need a Facebook. I really hate that.
I know, same.
That's the way it is. You know,
it's like the only reason why I have social media is for band
It's for the
promotion
band.
and wild
Exactly.
memes.
Same.
Exactly.
This same
Yeah,
thing.
I-
It's same thing.
absolutely despise it, but
Yep.
that's the way it is.
But it's like it's an ever-changing thing that you have to adapt to, otherwise you're just not going to be able to keep up with the
Yeah.
kid in his basement that's ripping through content and putting stuff up and getting thousands and
Mhm.
hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
of
I go
streams.
listen
Look like
the
you know,
algorithm.
listen to my favorite Pink Floyd albums, and I'm like, this band, like, you didn't need to see them ever.
It's
You could just
rough.
listen to the album once through and be like, holy fuck, like, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not like that anymore. It's different.
Yeah, I don't want to be that old guy being like, back in my day, but like
It is that way. It is that way though.
it is. It's different. Like, you know, I try.
Not long ago.
It's not that long.
No, well, I mean, I think shit changes so quickly now. But I mean, like even like since the release of the iPhone, like, think of how much has changed since then. Like
Yep.
06 or whatever it was. Like,
I had the first one.
yeah, it's just insane. It's insane. Like, I don't know how people keep up, and I don't know how I'm gonna manage, you know, the social media and phones and all that kind of shit with having children. I'm hoping it blows up and it's gone.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, dude.
Yeah.
No.
I'd love to not ever see these apps ever again.
Yeah, not to mention it's not healthy to be so
Oh, no, it's
heavily
not.
involved all
Yeah.
day, every day. It's like if you're working a nine, you know, I'm working a 9 to 5 with my head buried in a computer for that long, and then I come home and then we got to do
Yeah.
social media stuff and shoot content. It's
Brains
like,
were not.
Yeah, I
brains
don't
are not
think-
designed to stare at these
yeah,
screens
it's,
for this
it's
long.
not okay. Like I always say, like put your phone down and look around, look up.
Yeah.
Why do you think people go to like the woods and go hiking to try and get away from stuff? Like you get back into that primal state of being that your brain is years and years behind you supposed to be.
That's why I
You know?
hate that the phone has to be so involved in the
So-
these days.
Yeah, but I mean, the worst way to communicate is through text. Like, there's, I mean, you
Use all the tone.
Nothing.
yeah, there's no cadence, there's no tone. Like, I can read a text from my wife at two different points in my day. It could be the same words, and if I'm having a bad day, I read it and I'm like, you fuck her. And if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, oh, sweetie, like that sounds great. Like, Same text, same,
Yeah.
same everything.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a if I'm in a different mindset when I read it, it's not healthy. And then like the internet, when there's no repercussions for your actions or your words when you talk shit to somebody. And I mean, kids these it's scary because that world exists all the time for them, and I don't even want to get into it. It's a whole different topic.
I mean, I heard an analogy where it's like, think about the wild out of pocket stuff that you say in traffic when someone does something stupid. Would you do that if you were standing behind them in the grocery store line?
Not a chance.
Not. So like, what are we doing? You get your teeth knocked out.
I
Yeah,
remember the day I deleted Facebook off my phone and my account. I remember the day.
good for you.
It was like I was still at my old job, and I just sat there and I was like, "Fuck this app." And I just deleted my account, and I was like, "What am I doing?" Like my brain cells, I can feel them like dying as I scroll through this app, and I just like hit delete. And I remember the worst part was that it was like 30-day delay. It gives you like 30 days to like change your mind.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I was like, "No, just get rid of it." And they're like, "We can't. We gotta wait 30 days." And I was like, "No, I don't want to see it." But
Wow.
it was a long time ago. But I wish I could
Crazy.
do that with Instagram, but I kind of can't.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't.
Instagram's not as bad because I feel like that's just more like pictures and
It's just really for the band, honestly. Like it's
Yeah,
just
but-
I like Instagram.
it's
yeah, but like Facebook, you can fall down a rabbit hole with
Oh
like,
my God,
people
yeah.
talking shit back and forth. Like I always look at stuff and it's like the amount of time these people have spent going back and forth,
Oh my god.
making no progress, by the way, because no one
Dude,
arguing on Facebook is going to change their mind. Like it's just not going to
comment sections that go for miles.
miles. It's like the amount of time you spent here, you could have been doing working out or anything else.
Anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
You're arguing with a stranger about nothing.
And you're not going to change their mind. Like they're set. Like it's just
And even if you did change their mind, like what does that really do?
I don't know.
Like great, you just changed the stranger's mind on Facebook.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, buckle up because it is essentially election year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
I know.
it's gonna be a great year.
Close
ahead
my
of us.
eyes and look away.
Yeah.
But speaking of looking ahead, so we're looking forward to some music. By the time this comes out, hopefully a song is released from you guys, and then we can expect more stuff throughout this year and then into next year. You have some shows coming up. The one coming up is going to be it's actually tomorrow. But this is going to air late. So anyone watching this right now, this show already happened. And it's at the Amityville Music Hall. But those watching this, oh shoot, man, you have one on 11/17. So if I put this out, hold on, it might come out so this might drop on the 17th. So tonight, SunHaven. Tonight, if you've made it this far through the podcast, tonight, SunHaven will be playing a show. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah, we just we were actually supposed to be on a show on the 16th, and then something happened with that. So I was like, we gotta hop on another show. We gotta replace the one that we lost. So now jumped on that. My buddy, one of our buddies reached out and was like, hey, want to jump on the show? Sure. So it was just that quick, so we're gonna be playing over at Shaker's Pub in Oakdale. Yeah, local show, just a mixed bill. So should be fun.
Cool. And any promoters looking to hit you guys up to book you guys, where can they reach you at?
So you can DM us on Instagram. It's SunHavenNY, and we have you can email us at our Gmail, sunhavenny@gmail.com, and we'll answer.
Oh yeah.
They will answer.
We
Sure will answer.
Yes, we will.
They've answered me for the past 2 years. We've been back and forth.
Dude, again, thank you for hanging in there.
Yeah, man.
It's like,
Dude, it's
been
not
great.
even that. I didn't even look at it as like, man, these guys are fucking slow walking me here. Like maybe they don't want to hang out, but no, I get it, man. It's busy. You guys are recording your families and dude, we're talking. It's a Thursday night right now, October 26th. It's almost 10:30. This is probably the last thing you guys want to do right now.
Oh, God.
we were
having a.
No.
What the hell else would we do?
We were literally stoked. Yeah.
Dude, I got out of work today. I'm like, I will sit in traffic for this.
Yeah.
Like, I was hyped, bro.
Yeah, you got great
That's
weather.
sweet.
How's the weather over there? Ours is like,
It's so warm. It's
Yeah.
it's gonna be almost 80 tomorrow.
holy shit.
Same here.
Same here, strange.
Yeah. So the worst part about tomorrow, my kids' school, they do a lot of fundraisers and like school events, and one of them tomorrow, again, this will be past when this airs, but it's like a night out, like a school night out with at like it's called Roba's family farms or whatever, and it's like a pumpkin patch, and there's things that kids to do and yada yada yada. And I'm like, God damn it, the last thing I want to do when it's 80 degrees out is go to a pumpkin patch.
How are those things like, dude? They definitely like cave in 80-degree weather. Pumpkins? Shit.
Yeah, it's not good times, but
No. They're like
yeah,
melted.
so that's my night tomorrow. It's gonna be fun. I love watching my kids have a good time. So they'll have a blast and they'll be cold and shit like that. But
Well,
I want to feel fall. I want to feel
Yeah.
I want to put a hoodie on and be
feel like
comfortable.
We're doing, it's gonna be
It's
colder.
coming.
Yeah, because of how long it's taking to get there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real cold.
Also it's gonna be 80 tomorrow, and then it's gonna go down to 30. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's gonna be a weekend of something, and then it's gonna be cold.
You never know how to dress when you walk out of the house. I'm like,
Long Island, sure.
cold in the morning, hot in the afternoon,
Yeah.
relatively chill in the evening, and then even colder at night. It's like, what's going on?
Long Island
Yeah.
gets brutal.
can't tell anymore. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to the new stuff. I got the one song.
Thank you.
It's very good.
Thank you.
It's no Night Swim.
Which one?
Yeah, that's that's a dread.
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah,
can't beat Night Swim. You can't do it.
It's just the intro song.
Yeah, that's
It's just a quick one to get you
a
in
quick
here,
taste.
You know,
Man, I don't know what it is about that song. I just
that's what we thought.
is that like is that your favorite too?
I mean,
think?
that's why
We knew it was the big
I
goal.
think we all knew when we like had all 10 of them. 10. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
when we finished all of them, I think it was pretty obvious. Like the most, I don't know if like emotional is the word, but like the most driving ones was that one, and then Transcendence, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
like most emotional song,
one of my favorites.
and we spent like the least amount of time on that song.
Yeah, Night Swim ripped together and like
Yeah.
Transcendence was like a
20.
couple bottles of wine and a few
That's
hours.
that's when you know though. That's when it happens. It's like, whoa,
Yeah,
that just
And that was probably like the only song we wrote, at least on that album, that we wrote all of us together at once. Usually it comes guitars first and then everything's after that. And we
Yeah.
kind of just all got together and just wrote that. As
Yeah.
that was actually the
Yeah,
day
that's
that I
what I
found
found.
out my company was in lockdown, and they
Oh,
were
yeah,
like,
it was
oh
beginning
yeah,
of
we're
COVID.
when COVID first started, like, yeah, someone had COVID, so
We're
we're not
gonna
gonna go to
close.
work
Oh, yeah.
anymore. And I was just in the room with them for like 7 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, like it was,
Yeah,
it
no.
was brand
We
new.
wrote that song in like 4 hours. Went out
That's
and got
sweet.
a bottle of wine from wherever
Yeah.
that, where was the place you, what was the
Bottle bar.
Shout out.
Endorsement.
Yeah, nice when we wrote in that basement in about a half hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I just started playing that intro, those intro
chords.
chords,
And I'm like, I need to sound, it needed to sound like water, and I was like,
Yeah.
I got it.
and that was it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
it's just so good. One thing I noticed, and I just wrote down what I thought immediately. I didn't really think too much about it, but the new song versus songs from the other album, I said, and I wrote it down. It sounds thicker, and that probably doesn't make any sense. Maybe
No, it
maybe
does.
No,
maybe,
it does.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
maybe
They're a
fuller
lot
sounds better. I don't know, but like
Sounds like
We talked
more
like
like,
that, too.
like mature, is that the word? Like to me, it sounds like more mature.
yeah,
But-
maybe it's I don't know what it is. Like it just like that thicker, for whatever reason, came out of my head initially. Like I'm like, that
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
And it does though.
I think it could be,
It does.
but I think it could be the tone, like part of the guitar tones that we use. We
Yeah.
took a different approach.
Yeah, the bass tone was a
The
lot.
bass tone is different,
And
and
the bass is a huge change.
yeah,
The bass
and
sounds amazing.
and we layered up a
Thank
lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not saying like your playing has ever not been. I mean, like the way the
Yeah, no,
quality
I-
of the
yeah.
recording of the bass
I love
is
it.
as my favorite it's ever been.
But there are a lot of layers, like, you know, going through like the backtracks and everything. Like we just finished setting up the backtrack files for the shows and stuff, and there are a lot of layers in there.
Yeah.
Like I looking back on it, I'm like, I did not realize how many layers that were in there until you take. It's like you don't realize how much stuff you have until you have to move. It's like that's kind of how it was. But
Can people expect anything different from this album? From the previous one?
so the previous one, yeah, I think so. Like the previous one was more like,
That was our first foray
yeah,
into this genre.
yeah.
So I think we were like, not hesitant, but I think we were, I don't think we pushed too many buttons. I think we
Okay.
just, I think we just played rock. Like we just played
Yeah,
rock.
we just let out whatever
Yeah.
whatever came
Just
to
played
us.
rock and it came. And I think this one, we like, there was a bigger focus on like, not heading back towards like the technicality of metal, but just like a little more thoughtfulness, a little more creativity and like the music part of
Yeah,
it.
in terms of the instruments.
And the instrumentation. So I would say it's probably just the same as what we wrote, but maybe a little bit more instrumentally involved.
And then
Okay.
hit him with the lyrics.
And then for like the lyric content, like I saw the beginning of this project as like a 3-part thing where it's like you have Slow Dan says that I'm going through these situations trying to figure out why things aren't working, like, and then by the end of it you're like, I need to reevaluate where my position is in life and like how I fit into the world around me. And then by the second album it's full on like therapy type stuff where you're going in and like addressing your anxiety, addressing the problems that you have head on, and you're like, no, some of these it's like this is my way of thinking is the problem, and I need to get over certain things or I need to face certain things. So a lot of it is just delving into your inner thoughts and like your, what's the word for your core beliefs of like
Part
these are
one was admitting the
Yeah,
problem.
part
Part
one
two
was finding that you kind of had a problem, and then by the end of it you're reevaluating
Fixing
and
it.
yeah, and now the second one is like I'm trying to get hands-on
Let's
with my
get to
mental
work.
health, fix some things that are going on, and you know, try and live a better life. And ultimately by the third record, like we've already started planning for that, it's going to be what are the lessons that you've learned from this second album and what you've learned about yourself and apply them to your life to make things better. So it's I'd
Cool
like to think
self-reflection.
that it's a little arc, you know, type of thing.
I love that.
So thanks, man.
I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm looking forward to checking out that song. I already forgot Above and Below. Now that I know some backstory to that song.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to like revisiting that again. And I'm serious about getting you guys into town here in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area. I
Yeah,
think
we're
We'll coming on down. We'll go right through the Poconos and we'll be right there.
you're not far. It's not a far
No.
drive. It's in Scranton, so it's probably what.
Done much farther.
Yeah.
Done much farther.
But I'm so happy we got to do this. It's been 2 years in the making.
Oh, yeah,
Looking
man.
forward to the new music. SunHaven is the band. Check them out on all social media platforms. Check them out streaming everywhere: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Check out the video for Night Swim. The other videos for Fox. Yeah, I mean it's all so good, and I'm pumped to see or hear what's next. So
Dude, thank you
Thanks,
so much for having us on again. Like I said, sticking with us, hanging out. Like it's been great meeting you, and we really appreciate the opportunity.
Could do this
man.
again
I
in the
would love
future.
to
Yeah.
chat and keep in touch, man.
Let's do this
for
again.
sure, obviously I follow you guys. And let's get you into town. We'll have a beer together. We'll give real life hugs. Real life
One of
hugs.
yours.
Yo, yeah. I've been looking at the
Yeah,
can behind
you
me.
you still get those made?
So I mean, it was sold out, like I said, in 2 days last year. They did make a second batch this year. They put it on. He didn't want to make a big deal about it. Like I was hoping we would make this like a yearly, like an annual, like beer release. Like not this one per se. Maybe like we do a different style every year.
I like porters, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, so he did it again, but like he's like, I don't want to make a big deal about it. I'm like, well, that's fine.
I'll make a big deal.
He put it back on tap, and like nothing, it kind of fizzled out. Like nothing, like no one's like rushing to. I mean, again, I've been involved with media forever, so like I had newspaper coverage, I had TV coverage, I had radio coverage, like I had everything. And not that I wanted to do that again, really, but like I like to make things a big deal, especially when you're like donating to a cause. Like, let's raise some money. I want to do everything we can to get exposure, raise money so we can help people out. So he did it. He put it on tap, and then there's still a keg ready to get back on tap, which will happen, I think, next month. But so yeah, it'll be available again. It's just not canned because it costs a lot of money for the labels and the cans and blah blah. And so long story short, I don't have the beer available, but we'll have beers together. We'll give real life hugs.
Sounds good.
We'll talk about our dreams.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
shit. I'm gonna leave you. in
Dude, you
peace with
gotta
that
show me
local
you gotta
drink.
show me the real homes, man. Maybe I had a dream about it.
Oh, my
All right,
God.
guys, it's been truly my pleasure, and I can't wait to again hear the new music, and hopefully see you guys in person real soon.
Oh yeah.
Of course, man.
Looking
man.
forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, thank
All
you,
right,
man.
guys, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Catch you
All
later,
right.
man. Have a
We'll
good
see
night.
Later.